Yo, what's up, YouTubers? So, we got a question from our friend Keaton. And Keaton is 20 years old, started a kind of a landscaping, basically do anything with a truck and a trailer, it sounds like. He just bought himself a dump trailer, 14,000 pound gross vehicle weight rating. So your standard tandem axle, 7,000 pound axles, I assume, if it's 14,000. Anyways, he got that trailer. His question is, Kyle, I want to buy a mini excavator. I am looking at a Kubota u35, which I believe is a 7,500, 8,000 pound machine. Which is the better one, best one to buy? And I'm assuming in this size range, in this in the category of machine. So you're looking at a 3.5 ton excavator, 8,000 pound machine, which is the best one to buy. So the honest opinion, if my cat guy sees this video, which he might yell at me, but I like him anyways. I really like the Kubota. I think the Kubota is an awesome, I think Kubotas in general are really good machines. They are, I would say, 15 to 20% cheaper than Cats as far as price goes. So that's obviously good for a lot of people. I have really enjoyed my Kubota skid steer, and I probably wouldn't trade it for any other brand out there, for a bunch of different reasons, and I should do a video on that soon. But I really like Kubota. They are a very simple yet well-equipped machine. It's kind of like, I was actually talking to a buddy of mine about it. The Kubotas are like the Hondas and Toyotas of the car world industry, or, you know, they're a very like practical, purposeful, well-built, well-designed, good vehicle, you know. So I really like the Kubota. I think for the value, price per pound of weight of machine, I think you get probably the most value out of a Kubota for what it'll do. It's still, I think, too early to tell with Kubota excavators and light-duty construction equipment like that anyways, to see how well and long they last. But I have read, understand, and learned that Kubota shares a lot of parts with, or use a lot of similar parts, just different part numbers, etc. Actually from a bunch of different brands. Like Cat, for example. Cat and Kubota both use the same track system on their skid steers, at least within comparison to the dozer style track system. So it's the same track system. Cat's just bolts to the frame differently because they have a torsion suspension, which is nice, does give a nicer, smoother ride, but I've seen some where they just break, so that's not cool. The torsion axle will just break, so that's a no bueno there. As far as the Kubota engine goes, it's one of the best engines I've heard reviewed or understood from my research. Do your own, but the Kubota engine is definitely right up there in the top of all of them. You know, and I just don't think you can go wrong with like a Kubota, a Deere, a Cat, and or what I hear great things about Takeuchi. I hear those are awesome machines. And then there's one of the Wacker Newson makes excavators, or is making excavators and smaller machines like that under I think under the 8-ton range. And I hear they're all awesome. They're all very good machines and people like them. As far as my personal operating experience between Kubota, Deere, and Cat in that range, and I've operated all three. I've operated the U35, I've operated the Deere, the John Deere D35 or 35D, I think they call it, is the name on it. And then I've operated the 303.5 from Cat. And the Deere deere really takes the cake in my opinion. That thing is fast, it is smooth, it is powerful, it is, you know, really good with sensitivity as far as the joystick controls. I really, really like that deere. I've run a couple different cats in that size range and within that 303 up to a 305, and they're slow. I have a 305/5 on rent right now for a job I'm working on, and it just feels slow. Powerful, but just slow in its movements. My 308 feels fast, so I don't know, it feels fast as it should be and as powerful as it should be. The Kubota, I would say, would be the Kubota u35 would be, as far as performance goes, I think the Kubota definitely has a lot of power. It may be the most powerful one, but again, you've got variables too with stick length, boom length, stuff like that. Not all these machines are the same. You get a shorter stick on the same size machine, you're going to feel like you've got a lot more power with that thing just because of natural physics and the leverage that you're going to get. So take that into consideration too. But I think you got a lot of power with that U35. It's not as fast, and I wouldn't say it's just as fast. It's almost or as smooth as the deere, but it's definitely a good machine. The Cat, I mean, I know I just bought a Cat 308, but there's a lot of other reasons too why I bought that machine. There's a lot of different reasons, and that's a whole nother topic. But the Cat is the slowest in that size, in the 7-ton, 8-ton, or 7,000, 8,000 pound range. It's the slowest, it feels the weakest, and it's just kind of the most, it just feels cumbersome to operate and compared to the other three. And all these machines, at least in this range, I've operated multiple different kinds. I think I've only operated 2 U35s from a Kubota, and they were both brand new, so that gives it a little bit up. I've operated a Deere, the 35D, which only had like 100 hours on it, so it was basically new. But the cats that I've rented and used have had anywhere from, you know, 80 hours up to like 400 hours. So they're all really within the range of being a brand new machine. The Cat, they're just slower. They just feel like a slower machine. Maybe because it's a rental machine, they have the pump settings and the pressures set down. I don't really know, but that's my opinion on those three. It's the only three that I've operated. I guess overall, most bang for your buck, Kubota, I would say. Kubota offers 0% financing. I'm sure Cat, Deere, actually I know Deere does offer 0% financing for the same thing. So that's a good deal there. I don't know what the prices on the Deere are compared to a Kubota, but you just have to see. I really, at the end of the day, I don't think you can go wrong with either three. I would really boil it down to basically value of the machine per, you know, pound per dollar in value. Like, let's say the Kubota is 50 grand, let's say the Deere is 55,000, let's say the Cat is 70,000, which all those are probably relatively accurate numbers. You know, you're going to be paying 30% more for the Cat in that case. And it depends on how they're equipped and all that. There's so many variables in it all. And the other thing you need to take into consideration too is your service, like your dealer service. How's your salesman? Do you feel that like your salesman is, you know, once he makes the deal and once he sells it to you, like, up, see you, goodbye, gone? Or do you think your salesman is going to be there? Like, my Cat salesman has busted his ass to get things for me when I need him in a jam or things like that, you know, and so that makes a huge difference to know that you've got that product support along with, you know, the product you're buying. But I would just, you know, rent, where you can't go wrong, especially for a couple $100 for a day, renting those machines in that size. You should be able to rent that size machine anywhere from 250, 350 max, just depending on your area, per day, wherever that at. I know I'm over here in Michigan and pretty much all the way to Florida, you can rent that size of a machine for that price. And it's a great value. They're super easy and cheap to rent. As far as your trailer pulling them, just be careful, because I used that. I loaded a U35 in a dump trailer, same capacity, and I really was nervous that I was going to break the trailer. It just was like, oh shit, am I going to break this thing? So, might want to do an equipment trailer or do a different ramp setup. Of course, I don't even know what kind of ramp setup your trailer has. But that's my thoughts on that particular size of a machine and brand, like I said. So hope that helps. You rock. On to the next question. Stay tuned, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. You guys rock.